Hey y'all, welcome back to Lorena's Kitchen, Cooking in the Urban Studio. So tonight I am going to be doing some Sunday Fun Day food prep. So we're going to be doing some barbecue jackfruit sandwiches later. And in prep of that, I'm going to be doing some coleslaw first, some spicy slaw. You can kick the spice if you don't want it, but I do prefer a little bit of that spicy kick to my coleslaw. So I'm going to do about less than a half of my red cabbage, less than a half of my regular white cabbage. Just gonna shred them. So chop them down, peel off your outer layers, shred them down. I used 2 large carrots and I used my mandolin and I grated them. And then for our mayonnaise part or our coleslaw creamy mixture, we're going to be using 1 package of silken tofu. I'm going to start off with 1 cup of white distilled vinegar. I have 2 serrano chilies. You don't have to do this if you don't want spicy. I have 3 cloves of garlic. Then we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, about a teaspoon of salt. And that'll pretty much be our mixture that we're going to use to coat our cabbage with carrot mixture and make our spicy slaw. So drain your liquid from your tofu. And since I want it to go nice and easy, I'm going to actually transfer it first to a bowl, and I'm going to mash it up a little bit so that it'll work better in my blender. And then I'm going to transfer it to my blender, and I'm going to get my white distilled vinegar and all my other seasonings in there and mix that up. There we go. And just a regular potato masher, just because I want it to go easy. I want it to be nice and smooth, and we're doing this ahead of time because I always feel like when it comes to spicy slaw and coleslaw, the longer it sits, the better it tastes. So I've just mashed it up a little bit. It kind of looks like cottage cheese. I'm gonna show you. It looks kind of like that. And I'm gonna transfer it to my blender. I'm going to put at least a cup of my white distilled vinegar in first. If I need a little bit more, I shouldn't probably go past a cup and a half. But I figure a cup is a good place to start. And we're going to get our salt in. So I'm going to do a teaspoon each of salt and black pepper. Salt. Black pepper. I'm going to do a tablespoon of onion powder and a tablespoon of garlic powder. There we go. And for my garlic cloves, I'm just going to do a quick little thin slice. And I've got 3 garlic cloves all together. And in those go. And this will give us really nice flavor for our coleslaw mixture. My serrano, I'm going to just use 2. If you don't want spicy slaw, leave out the serranos. But if you're spicy like me and you want a spicy Sunday, then hey, go right ahead and do 2 serranos. Sliced very thin, and we're going to put them into our blender as well, and they're going to go into our mixture. And now our coleslaw is going to be like our side dish to our barbecue jackfruit sandwiches later. I am going to be making some pickled onions to go on top of our sandwiches because I always like a little something fresh and a little raw into my diet. And now I'm gonna just give it a good mix around with a spoon first. And that way, I'm gonna make sure everything's down. And we're gonna just blend it on up. Blend it for about 30 seconds. All right, so we blend it for about 30 seconds. Obviously the silken tofu is very good. Just check it. It should be nice and creamy. And maybe like 10 more seconds. That way we're all good to go. I want to, first things first, we're going to incorporate our carrots in with our cabbage, which has already been shredded. Do this in advance. Like my mom would have always said, cabbage is your anti-carcinogen, get it in. I'm gonna mix our carrot in with that. And it looks so beautiful. You don't have to do like the purple cabbage. I like it. I always think it's very pretty when you see like the pepper and like red pepper and like colors in coleslaw. Like, why make it boring? I've never liked boring coleslaw. Which is why it's also really good even without the creamy part. So if you don't want to use tofu, you don't have to. You could just use, honestly, white distilled vinegar and spruce it up with the garlic and your other seasonings. And you could do that too. But hey, why not? So our mixture is frothy and a nice little kind of like a mayonnaise-ish. And slowly pour it on over because we don't want to get like crazy messy. And I'm gonna take another spoon and incorporate it all around. I do have a container that I'm gonna store it in the refrigerator until I'm ready for later. I'm gonna make sure it's all well coated. It really does look quite beautiful right now. And by letting it sit, it's really gonna get that nice flavor. It's kind of gonna pickle itself, and pickled items are always good for you. And this is raw, it's beautiful colors. Just gonna do that so we don't want too much of a mess. And this will stay good for a couple days, so you could even bring it for lunch, use it other ways. It's a great little side dish. It's colorful, it's nice, crunchy. And with our excess, I'm gonna make some soup out of my, some cabbage soup, which is great, low fat. And I'm always such a soup person, so I like to utilize everything that I got. All right, now, that's all mixed in. I'm gonna transfer it to my container. So I wanna put this in the refrigerator for a little bit. Make sure you waste none of that good stuff. You don't wanna miss out. Put that in there. Rinse off my hands. And this you can do before you do our pulled jack barbecue sandwiches. I'm gonna wait about an hour now, at least, because I am going to be making some pickled onions, which I am gonna show you how to do. And we're gonna have this set for about an hour before we start doing that stuff. If you wanna do it even longer, it'll only enhance the flavor so much more. All right, so now this is all incorporated. Got my beautiful, very, very colorful coleslaw going. And just show you, see how it looks like. All those beautiful colors. So we're gonna seal that up, and this is going to be our spicy slaw later. We're gonna put this in the refrigerator and we're gonna let it sit for at least an hour. We're gonna come back and we're gonna make some pickled onions, and that's gonna be our topper for our pulled jackfruit barbecue sandwiches later. So stay tuned, we'll be right back at Lorena's Kitchen, cooking in the urban studio. Thank you.